can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together?
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm just gonna go over the fact really quick that this is not the most pleasing place in my house that I can film this, but everywhere else is like full of like baby clothes or like stacks of stuff, or it's just not a great looking background, or the lighting is really terrible. So this was the only spot I could get that had like normal lighting, and also like the TV isn't going. So we're gonna hope that the air conditioner is not too loud, because I have to keep it on because it is over, I don't even know what it is today here. Apparently, which I think this is a lie, it is 89 degrees outside today here in Florida, and it poured all of yesterday, so it's like really sticky and hot, and that 89 degrees just doesn't do it justice. So obviously by the title of this video, we're going over my whole entire second trimester. I decided this pregnancy not to do weekly updates. I think I am going to start doing them though, because I've hit 30 weeks, just to make it a little bit easier, because things change so quickly right now. If you hear my dog, it's because she's walking towards me right now. So this is just for my second trimester, because it's just like so little that I feel like goes on in your second trimester. Hi babies. Hi. That yeah, it's not enough for consecutive videos. So anyways, just jumping right into it, I have a list on my phone of kind of just different stuff that I'll go over. Lay down. Sit. 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 Down. Down. Good girl. Okay, so first thing that's just randomly on my list is at the beginning of this trimester, my brain is fried by the way, but at the beginning of this trimester, all I wanted to do was like clean, nest, get everything done, and obviously like I couldn't get really everything done then and then still have it clean by the time the baby comes, so that kind of faded out sadly by the end of my second trimester, and now that I'm in my third trimester, I have no want to do literally anything at all. I am exhausted 24/7, so I'm hoping that when we get closer to baby, then it'll kick in, but I'm just trying to fight it basically for right now and get everything done that I need to get done, because I do have 2 other toddlers, so I have to get it done eventually. A great thing I guess about this pregnancy was that I didn't get any more morning sickness or like nausea or anything in my whole entire second trimester. Sadly, I feel like literally like my body knew I wasn't in the second trimester anymore, and that first week of my third trimester was very, very rough. It kicked my butt. So second trimester was like a dream. Everything was just going great, and then third trimester it was just like everything came back really weirdly. I've never had that happen before, so I'm not sure if it's like a third baby thing at this point. This pregnancy is still so different than either pregnancy that I had with Quentin or Aspen, so I'm just kind of like learning along the way at this point, because I figured it would mimic one of their pregnancies, like being as like a boy pregnancy or a girl pregnancy, and did neither in fact. So apparently just every pregnancy that I have is different, and apparently none of them are going to be the same. So my heartburn this past trimester has kicked in beyond belief. It didn't really kick in until the end of this trimester, so that was at least a little nice because I had a little bit of a break, but every single baby I've had excruciating heartburn, like to the point where like I'm like gagging on acid. That sounds so bad, but just like super uncomfortable, and I'm like popping Tums every like 5 minutes and or chugging milk, and milk this time tastes horrible to me. Like I don't know why it leaves this nasty taste in my mouth. Like I just can't do it. At the beginning of this pregnancy I was fine with milk, but now milk is just not my friend. But I have to drink it, or I have to like eat like a couple scoops of yogurt or something like that. So it's just been fun. My weight gained since the beginning of this trimester, well, technically since the beginning of my pregnancy until the end of this trimester, I'm pretty positive, I'll have to like look back, but I'm pretty positive I started this pregnancy at around 115, which this is my heaviest that I've started out a pregnancy at, so that's kind of interesting too. I started at 105 with Quentin, 110 with Aspen, and then 115 with this baby, so I don't know if I just go up 5 pounds every time, but I do have to say that the area that I got pregnant with this baby of like being 115, it was probably one of the healthiest that I've been, because I was just like not eating when I got pregnant with Aspen, I feel like, as much as I should have been, until like I like noticed that I wasn't, and then I like started eating before we conceived her, obviously. And with Quentin, I was a teenager, so I didn't really care about what I was eating, what I was doing, anything like that. So I do have to say that I think 115 was the healthiest that I did start pregnancy out at, which is nice. But now I have hit 149 at the end of the second trimester, so still not bad. I don't think I've gained as much weight this time as I have with the other two. With Aspen, I gained a lot of weight very, very quickly, but it was all gone right after I had her. Right after I had her, basically. I'm hoping it'll be easy to just get back in the swing of things once this baby comes to, and get back, like, get unswollen, basically. Another thing that's just driving me absolutely nuts is that this pregnancy, I am starving. Like, I'm so hungry, but nothing satisfies me to not be hungry anymore. So with the other two kids, I had cravings that specifically would be like, okay, I get this, and then I'm satisfied and I'm full. This baby, I have tried everything. Nothing is making me full. Nothing like satisfies that like weird urge, and like my brain apparently cannot dispute. I can't pinpoint what I want is the issue that we're having here. That's been really interesting and really hard to try to do, because I'm just starving and all I want to do is eat, but I also get heartburn from everything that I eat. So it's just like a lose-lose battle with food right now. I'm hoping by the end of this, by the end of my third trimester, it'll be fine, but I'm not counting on it. I'm really just not counting on it. I'm just counting down these last 2 months that I have. Yes, I'm already in my third trimester when I'm filming this, but I'm just like counting down, like, okay, when am I gonna be like satisfied to eat again? So another thing is that I've never had a transverse baby, which, if you don't know what a transverse baby is, I'll try to put the picture up here again. I put it in my like last like OB vlog what that means, but basically like your bones of like your hips and your pelvis and whatever is like this, like a basket almost, and like the baby is like sitting like this way, like head, feet. That doesn't really make any sense, but your baby's like sitting sideways basically. I know I burped. So it's not like ideal, but we're also not to 36 weeks yet. But what does scare me is that Aspen and Quentin were never that. They were always head down, feet straight up into my rib cage. So I never like really had to worry about it. This baby is just liking to stay transverse. So I actually did talk to my OB about it, and he was basically like, you can do the exercises to like to flip baby, like if I was like that concerned about it, and it's not gonna hurt it at all. Like hurt that I do it, it might just make the baby flip and then stay that way. So I'm gonna probably try to do those just to be on the safe side, because I don't want to really go into 36 weeks, because I've heard that it's like almost impossible to flip a baby on its own without doing like one of those exterior like flipping things. Yeah, it's like 0.1% or something like that your baby will like flip on its own after 36 weeks. So we don't even want to get to that point. So I'm gonna do those probably starting like today or something, because I just got the okay to do them. I don't know if I've talked about this in my first trimester video, because I don't even know if I knew or not, but my placenta is actually attached to right, well, like right where my C-section scar is from Aspen, it's attached to that. So I asked if there would be any complications with that because it kind of worried me a little bit. I don't know how that works, obviously, like if they have to do another emergency C-section, or like does it like get in the way, like I don't know. My OB reassured me that it was fine and that it wouldn't give me any issues for a natural delivery, which is what we're hoping for, and that if we did have to do an emergency C-section again, that it wouldn't do anything, like it would just be normal procedure. So that's nice to know because it freaked me out a little bit, because I was like, how do you cut it open? And he was like, no, like don't worry about it, like it's fine, it's in a fine place. And I was like, okay, that's cool, because I don't know what else to do about it. If you've been following me for my last 2 pregnancies also, you'll know that I get migraines with Aura. They're super painful migraines that basically resemble a stroke in most people. So I have not gotten, thank the Lord Jesus, I think I've gotten like 1 in this pregnancy, and then I went on medication to where if I do get one, I just take medicine for it, or I go to the hospital and they'll give me a higher dose of the medicine if mine isn't working. So yeah, so I'm like very thankful for that, but it's also really weird because like because of that, I had less of those migraines when I was pregnant with Quentin, and I had way more of them when I was pregnant with Aspen. So I don't know if that's like a hint to myself that it's a boy or not, because this pregnancy is just so different in so many ways. Sleeping with this baby has become so uncomfortable. With the last 2, I feel like I didn't really struggle to get comfortable as much as I'm struggling to get comfortable with this baby. I feel like if I'm laying on my sides, I can't breathe. If I'm laying on my back, I still can't breathe, but it's my only comfortable position. So someone is coming to say hi. You might hear her talking in the background. She might just sit here and talk, I'm not really sure. But I'm just gonna go through the rest of these that are on the list. I know. Okay. Another thing that I do have is called an umbilical hernia. If you don't know what that is, it's like stuff protrudes through your belly button hole. That makes no sense. But basically, so like my belly button pushes out and then like stuff gets stuck in it. So intestines can get stuck in it, I guess. I did talk to my OB about it, and I can't do anything about it until I'm done having kids completely, because the surgeon doesn't want to do it, like basically put the mesh in it to like make sure it doesn't happen again until you're done having kids, because when you get pregnant it can like move it and whatever. So they won't do it until we're completely done and completely sure that we're done having kids, unless obviously it becomes like an emergency where like stuff gets stuck in it. So thankfully I haven't had really any issues with it. It's been just there, and nothing's been getting stuck in it, so that's been good. I also did pass my gestational diabetes test. Yeah, careful please. You're fine. I did pass my gestational diabetes test. This time I was a little worried. Honestly, I had this like weird feeling in the back of my mind that I wasn't gonna pass it, but I did with flying colors, thankfully, because I can't poke my finger. I'm literally absolutely terrified of it. I just can't do it. It's one of those things that just rubs me the wrong way. So I'm kind of glad that I passed it, because that would have been terrifying for me to have to do that, because there's no way I could have poked my finger. Another thing I talked to my OBs about this trimester was whether I could do a water birth or not. When I was pregnant with Quentin, it was on the website for the hospital, because we're delivering at the hospital we were supposed to deliver Quentin at, but we didn't end up delivering him there. There was like a bunch of stuff that went on, so we're switching from the hospital that Quentin and Aspen were born at back to the hospital that he was supposed to be born at, because the other facility has gotten absolutely terrible. So we're going to the facility that we're supposed to go to. But they used to have water birth options at their hospital, where they had like 2 inflatable tubs and they would bring them into you, and like, I don't know how they kept the water warm, but they like did. It was weird, I don't know. But you used to have to take a class to be able to do one of those births, to like know like your risks and like how it helps and whatever. And we took the class with Quentin, so I didn't know if we would have to take the class. But so I didn't see the class on the website, so I figured I would just ask my OB if we just didn't have to take it because we've already taken it, or if like we did, if it timed out, whatever. So when I asked him, he was like, we don't do that anymore actually. And I was like, oh, that makes sense why it's not on the website anymore, because you don't do it. I guess that there was like more studies done since I've delivered Quentin, which obviously makes sense. That was 4 years ago, almost 5. And that if you're like submerged in the water while you're like dilated and everything, like it can introduce like bacteria into like your uterus, and you can get like an infection that way, or it can introduce infection to the baby before the baby's born, and the baby can get really sick from it. So I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. I was like, I'd rather just not deal with it at all. So I did ask though if I could still get in the shower, and he was like, yes, that's fine, because you're not submerged like in the water, so there's no like bacteria going back and forth. So I was like, that's fine, because with Quentin for a while I used the shower to like help my like labor, because it like takes my pain away better than an epidural does. Another thing he went over with me is that I don't have to do continuous monitoring. So when I was pregnant with Quentin, I feel like it wasn't as big of a thing as it is now. Like everyone was just like stuck in a bed, and they were like, here, like you have to put these like monitors on. And obviously like I was young, so I didn't know that you could say no to that. So I just sat there, obviously. But they actually like kind of frown upon that now, at least at the hospital that I'm delivering at, that they don't want you just sitting there, obviously, unless you have an epidural or like they need to monitor you 24/7, because they want you like up and moving. It progresses labor faster, and then they don't have to give you Pitocin, which I cannot have Pitocin because I've had a C-section, so I have to kind of like be able to progress like faster by myself. So he said that we could do intermittent monitoring. That word is not coming out right, but you know what I mean. And they also have Bluetooth ones at the hospital that I'm going to that are also waterproof, so I can wear them and go like walking around the halls, and then I can also wear them into the shower, so I don't have to take them off, and like I don't have to worry about the baby not being monitored. I don't really mind them being on my stomach. I just mind being like confined to like this really tiny area of not being able to move, especially with going natural this baby. I don't want to do that at all. So I'm really glad that he was like, no, we can do that, and you don't have to be monitored 24/7. So thank God for that. The last thing that I went over with them in this trimester was the visitor policy. We delivered Aspen in the heat of COVID, so there was no visitors allowed at all. You couldn't even walk outside of your room in the hospital. Like if you were laboring and you wanted to walk around, you weren't allowed to. You had to walk around in your room. It was like literally just terrible. It was like the babies that were born during that time, like no wonder like so many other moms have postpartum depression, because it was literally terrible. Like there was birth trauma. There was just so much going on that was just chaos. So obviously we weren't able to have visitors. Quentin didn't meet Aspen until she came home. So like nobody was allowed to come to the hospital. Obviously we were there for I think 3 days too, because I did have a C-section, and it was my first C-section, so they kept me for longer, and they were like, you can stay like another day if you want to, because like my muscles just like were not working for some reason. Like after I had her, I like couldn't get up like at all, and then like when I would like force myself to get up, because I was like, I should be walking around by now. But when I did like force myself to get up. My nurses were great in postpartum care, which was really nice. One of my nurses was like, you like are not doing great. And she was just basically like, you know, like you can stay like longer. I see you. Just because she knew I was going back home to then have Damien going back to work like very shortly after, and she was like, if you need to stay longer, you can stay longer. And I was like, no, like I have a toddler at home that I have to get to. But so yeah, so there was no visitors. So this time it's really weird going into having a baby and you're allowed to have visitors. Like it, but yeah, there's no visitor restrictions. Anyone can come up. They can get a little with the numbers. So we're just basically gonna bring up the kids because it's like 2, but you can get special privileges sometimes. It's all over the place. So we're guaranteed that we're allowed to bring the kids up. We're not guaranteed that anyone else can come up. So that is fantastic for me. I don't mind really, but I am a little bit worried about like that they're not gonna want to leave and they're gonna be really confused about like why I'm not leaving with them. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes, obviously. But other than that, I'm pretty sure that's it for my second trimester. If you guys have any other questions, or if you think I forgot anything, just put them in the comments below and I'll make sure to like respond to them. But yeah, so we're officially in our third trimester and we only have a little bit left to go. So we're really excited about that, and hopefully I can start getting these videos out quicker. I haven't been able to because I felt so sick for like a week. So I took a week off because I needed the rest. But here I am, I'm better, I'm back, we're good. So all the videos that were supposed to come out last week, they'll just come out within the weeks. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy and we'll see you in our next video.